so let's get into actually finding the best suppliers on AliExpress to be your dropshippers, because it's super, super important. A lot of people get into it and they just find whoever, and then they're shipping out, these fake or low quality or garbage products, and it just turns bad fast. When you start to get chargebacks, they'll close your payment accounts and everything just starts to crumble. So you really, really want to focus on setting things up right, which is exactly what we are going to do right now. So let's just put in the old classic. Who doesn't love a nice piece of cat jewelry? I know I do. How I usually like to start this out, if I'm not looking for something specifically, like maybe I saw like this exact design on Facebook, I might search, for specific keywords. But when I'm just putting in cat jewelry to browse around, how I like to order things is by sorting by orders. And so this looks like the most ordered item right here. And so let's talk about what we want to look for as far as supplier quality. So you want to look for people who have above 95% positive feedback. And if you want to take notes for this has worked really well for me. Everybody likes thresholds. It's not always sound exactly perfect, but in general, I like above 95% feedback, and I like a feedback score above 2,000. And what I mean by that is if we look here and hover right here, we see that the seller's feedback score is 4,823, and we see their positive feedback is above 95, sitting pretty at 98.4. Right, so the next thing that I like to look for is kind of sustained quality. So how long has this person actually been open? So if we click into the listing, it's sold by YU Jewelry. It looks like they've been open for 3 years. So here we go. It reiterates that same information right here. And again, the AliPrice Chrome extension gives us all this same information. It's been open for more than a year, more than 1,000 feedback score, which means very high level of trust according to them. Items core, I like seeing 2,000 above a 2,000 feedback score. So I like an even greater level of trust than even AliExpress does. AliPrice does. So items correspond to the description, which is always great to see. Very communicative, quickly responds to messages. The seller is frequently online. Very fast shipping. Sold very high quantity of items for the last 3 months. So those are all great things that you like to see. Again, if you do want to see the price differential over the past few months, it's right here in the second tab. So it looks like they were selling this exact item for $1.88 back in August on the 23rd, and they've dropped it down a bit. So all great information available for free. And so those are the two things that I really like to kind of look for initially. The next thing that I like to look for is down here in the shipping and payment tab. And if you want, you can read through some of these. Most of them are 5 stars. Best seller from AliExpress, all good, cute pendant, order more. I love how cute it is, the right size, it doesn't look so big on you, very well packed. Look, all very good kind of stuff here. I like to look through and just, people will upload actual images of the item that they ordered, which is just great because, it kind of saves you time and energy. Because normally, when you are forming these relationships, I do recommend that people order samples, and those samples can take, between 12 and 20 days, like ePacket normally does. But if these people, if it's a relatively simple item and they have, such amazing feedback like this, and people are posting a bunch of pictures and things like that, you can make the determination up for yourself whether or not you do want to order those samples. Normally, I do say that you would want to order samples and just wait the 12 days, inspect the quality for yourself. It's the only way that you're going to be 100% sure. So the next thing I like to look at is shipping and payment. So what do they have available here? So it looks like they have the available ones are right here. So ePacket is generally what we are concerned with, just because it is the fastest to the countries that we are most concerned about shipping to, right? The big 4 are USA, Canada, Australia, and the UK. And this means that ePacket, they'll get it there between 12 and 20 days. And since there's such a huge volume from China to the USA, generally the ePacket shipping is actually closer to the 12 days to the USA. The 20 days can sometimes be, like obscure places in the UK or Canada and things like that. So that is the next thing that we like to look at. If we want to actually contact the supplier, there's many ways to do it, but we can scroll down to right here. We can actually go to their name and press contact now. There's a ton of different ways. And so this is where we'd actually contact them. You want to be wary of a few things. You want to be at least interested. You want to see how fast they respond, whether they're answering all of your questions, how good their English is, right? And I know that seems petty, or it might, but I've dealt with hundreds of suppliers over the years in China, and it's just you work with them all the time. There's always little things that come up like tracking numbers or packaging or applying your logo or whatever the case may be, and it's just very nice to have somebody who speaks fluent English, is a fast responder, is actually answering all of your questions. Something that I've realized, just a random little tip that I'll give you. In China, you're taught to respond to questions, I've heard, in numbered order. And so every time I ask a supplier my initial questions, I'll always number them. So if you have 5 questions and you ask all 5, I promise you, if you send that to 100 different suppliers, you'll only get all 5 questions answered by like one person. But if you number them 1 through 5, you're going to get a better answer. And so I number it in the contact suppliers template that I will provide to you guys. And so you can just download that and just copy and paste it, fill in your own information. It's literally plug and play, guys. And that template has made me many dollars. So you want to look at the average pricing that they have, and we talked about that just before. It's very easy. It's very easy to actually see what that is. Ollie price makes it quite easy. If it was $1.15 now, and we do see that there's a sale here, so the sale price is $1.02, and we can see here that that's the cheapest that it's been in months. And so that might be why there's so many sales for it, because what people will do is they'll go around, they'll find a bunch of different pieces of jewelry like this or whatever your niche is, and then they'll actually just set the notifications if the price drops. And then Ollie Price will actually notify you if the price drops. And that's probably a big reason why they're selling so many as of right now. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is kind of the detailed seller rating. So if we come in and actually hover over their store here, we will see some averages out of 5 here. And so what we want to see here is about, we want to see 4.5 or higher. You can actually see 7.4% higher than other sellers. 9.5% higher than other sellers, and these are in related niches. And so this is great information for you. So, they're above average on all of this. Their lowest seems to be shipping speed, but again, e-packet, right? The delivery time is between 12 and 20 days. And so if you accustom your customers or you get them used to the idea of 3 weeks shipping, then, you should be good to go. And so detailed seller rating is just something that I like to look at. And then last but not least, seller guarantees. So this is an interesting one. What you want to see here is, a return policy, seller service. If you don't receive your purchase within 35 days, you can ask for a full refund before order completion, or return policy. If the product received is not as described or low quality, the seller promises that you may return it before completion. So this means before you actually click, order received, or, exceed the time frame for 35 days for the full refund. So they have the buyer protection here. Full refund if you don't receive your order, full or partial refund if the item is not as described. So, this is pretty much everything that you want to see from a seller guarantee perspective. Since this isn't like a branded product or anything like that, we don't have to look for genuine claim. But if this was like a Xiaomi or like a Roku or something like that, and you were selling like an actual kind of product that has a real brand, then you'd want to see guaranteed to be genuine, written somewhere here, which is good if you're selling any type of branded products. But since we're not, and most of the time I don't, it's not a huge deal. And again, so when we do actually reach out to these people, so we can just go here and then contact now. When we reach out to them, we want to make sure, just to remind them, this will be in our template, but you want to just make sure when you're copy and pasting the template that they are actually answering the following questions. You want to make sure, do you guys have bulk drop shipping, which again is in the template. Just make sure they're actually responding, because sometimes they don't respond to your questions. And you want to make sure that they offer blind drop shipping. And so I'm just writing this, and we've already talked about this, guys, but it's just so important. Bulk drop shipping will save you so much time when you start to get bigger, and blind drop shipping will make sure that your customers don't hate you when you actually ship them, or when you ship them something that they paid $40 more for than it actually costs. So again, these are in the template that you can just copy and paste. All I'm saying is, as a final reminder, just make sure that they are actually answering those questions.